Welcome, one and all, Google Plusians, YouTubians, and everybody in between. It's a Gamers at Large, episode 40. This is the Good Shepherd hosting. We're gonna start it off with our good man, Bear Hugger.
What's going on, everyone? This is your big fat Canadian boy, Bearhugger29. Glad to be here again tonight for another episode of Gamer at Large Sunday Night Podcast.
Beautiful. All right, Jamie, you're up, my good man.
Yo, what's up, guys? Jamie Butterworth, aka Butterworthy here, and let's talk about some things while I play Smash.
And the good man, Gordon. What's up?
Hey, I'm Gordon, or as I will now be known, the Highland Gamer as my new YouTube channel. Yeah, let's do this.
Beautiful. And it's Mr. T, fool.
Hey there, fools. It's Mr. T of the Mr. T Show. In the immortal words of Medea, how you doing?
And Red Fox.
Yeah, this is Mr. Red Fox here. I don't have anything clever to say because Smash has pretty much smashed my brain cells over the last 2 days. But just keep it gaming.
Word. You need to add Hulk into Smash Brothers, man. Come on. It's the perfect title. Anyways, we're gonna start as usual with a bunch of topics. The first topic will be headed up by the Highland Gamer.
Cool, so we're going with me first then.
Yep.
Alright, so I just wanted to bring up the general topic of the localization within Nintendo and their different sort of parts of the world. So Nintendo of America versus Nintendo of Europe versus Nintendo of Japan. And basically the fact that some countries are getting either better prices or better bundles, and Japan gets a high focus on huge bundles with. And nowadays they have the smallest sales, and the biggest sales tends to come from America, and they, to want for a better word, get treated like crap at times. So what do you guys think of that?
Can I jump in on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. And I know I'm going to get some hate from people from this because I'm one of those people who I kind of understand do that. The thing is this: most of these Japanese companies, like Tecmo Koei, Nintendo, Sega, Konami to a certain extent, because I know a lot of their special editions are Japan only. The sheer volume of titles volume of inventory they have to shift. It's not to make something available all over. The only Japanese company that I've seen that pretty much like their special editions are available everywhere in the first run type of thing is Atlas. Like a lot of their stuff, first run, it's all going to be the special edition. But the reason they can do that is because all their stuff is like very small batches, because they don't need to sell a whole bunch of stuff in order to make their profit. I mean, they've been using the same graphical engine for their games for the last 3 console gens. So they aren't losing a ton of money to make the game. So, I mean, does it suck if you live in America, you don't get any of the special editions, or if you do, it's like only in one small location and people are having Death Dome, like Thunderdome, like fights in order to get the privilege of even standing in line to buy it? No, but I also don't want a company spending themselves into bankruptcy or huge amounts of money for something that only the hardcore of hardcore fans are going to buy it. And then the other people are going to be like, I'm not paying $90 for a special edition. That's wasted inventory for those people.
Yeah, I suppose that's a fair point. So do you think there's enough demand in America for the special editions?
It's not that I don't think there's enough demand. I just think that there's demand there, but it's kind of like the whole thing that like the most vocal are usually the minority. Like let's. I'm going to use Hyrule Warriors as an example because it's the most recent. Hyrule Warriors had a special edition. I'd say only about 5% of the total people who bought that game actually were considering special edition. So for Tecmo Koei to make that special edition, and I looked up some of the costs to make some of that stuff, and even though like to us as gamers, like it's just a scarf, it's just a little clock, but this is like special small run type stuff. It's not mass produced, so it's going to be more expensive if it's not mass produced. The quality's higher, but it's going to be more expensive. So I mean, it doesn't make sense for Tecmo Koei is a budget title to basically make something that widely available. I mean, financially, it's not worth their thing. And make no mistake, it's a good game, but it's a budget title for Tecmo Koei because they've been using the same engine for years now.
Well, while I agree with that, say 5% you think of the fan base for Hyrule Warriors would want that. I would say 100% of the people that showed up at the Nintendo World Store wanted that scarf.
I was not going to say it's actually
I'm not
close to
saying that. I'm just simply saying
man.
But what I'm
not
saying is
fair,
you can't
but,
segregate your fan base. I mean, why offer something? Right? You're saying it's about the costs.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about the cost when you offer it in Europe. It's not about the cost when you offer it, in other regions. So why is it a cost when it comes here? How about having that, the same amount of incentives that you have for other regions that you have here? Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard to ask for?
Or
Look,
is it
I
possible
agree
to
with
put in
you
a
on
bid
that.
prior to, like, everybody pre-order it in advance and they get a special edition?
Right.
Yeah, that
They
would
put it in the cost.
make sense because then they could get their money early. But the thing is that from what I've seen, basically Europe is the weakest market for Nintendo. The U.S. is actually, like, just sheer numbers-wise, is their strongest. In terms of their handhelds, Japan and U.S. numbers-wise is highest, but install base with numbers-wise, Japan's higher. But in terms of like just basic volume of sales, U.S. is harder because higher population. But the thing is that it's one of those things that, like, I guess they want to build hype in their weaker market, and I can understand that. But the thing is like, I mean, they try so hard to build their base in that market, and it's like at this point, I mean, if someone really wants a Nintendo title or the special edition of something Nintendo, why are they giving it all to Europe? I have nothing against Europe. It's just, I mean, that's the one thing I don't understand. I guess because they want to have at least a somewhat strong market everywhere, but it's not going to happen in Europe.
I mean, I feel personally from, I'm in the UK, from what I've seen in most of the local stores and things, Nintendo's, gets given a backseat. They're, the left side of the store's Xbox, the right side of the store's PlayStation. The only time Nintendo gets any kind of attention is when there's a special edition out, and then they get on the front desk. So I don't know if that's maybe what pushes them to do it, because the only way they're getting into those stores and getting that kind of pre-order and that, hype is when they do enough to stand over and above all the sort of third parties for the other consoles. And as well, it seems that you have the Nintendo store in America. That's one physical store. In the UK, about a year ago, they started a Nintendo online store, so you don't even have to go to the store. You can order online, and it'll come directly to your door. Boycott all that GameStop. Getting kind of booed for whatever you're choosing to buy, and you can go straight to Nintendo themselves in the UK. They don't seem to have that anywhere else in the world that I know of.
Now that's what I'm saying. Like, instead of, like, because I hear a lot of people saying that Nintendo should open up a worldwide store everywhere. The reason that Nintendo and a lot of these smaller Japanese companies can do a lot of stuff is because they're small enough where they still have some type of agility business-wise. Because, I mean, when you're the size of, like, say, Sony's gaming division, or say, Microsoft's gaming division, like, you can't make instantaneous or near instantaneous changes. You can't, like, well, we're going to do a special edition. Like, there's all these people you have to go through, all these people you have to cajole, wink, not. I mean, it's a lot easier for a mid-sized company to do that. So, I mean, and it seems kind of weird that, if you're Nintendo, you have to go through these extraordinary measures to get normal sales or semi-normal sales. When you have, you know, games coming out that sell really well in Europe, and they don't sell that well. So I don't know.
It's really crazy though. I mean, I was in a store today, just asking about the new Skylanders that's coming out, because I've played everyone in the series so far, and I went into the store and I asked the guy at the desk, "Oh, do you have this?" And he was like, "What's that for?" And I'm like, "The Wii U." He's like, "Oh, that's why I don't know what you're talking about." Why? Meanwhile, he's got queues out the door for the new FIFA, whatever it is, 25. You know, like it's really crazy. But it does seem like in Europe they've got to go that that bump ahead to get any attention.
Wow. What do you think about this, Shadow?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? With regards to the issue, I mean, if you're talking about Europe as a whole, or if you're just talking about other markets, it's for a long time Europe's been dwindling with regards to Nintendo as a whole, and for whatever reason, I guess Sony is having issues with it now too. The only people that seem to be making the big push in Europe and it's working is Microsoft. So but at the same point in time, if you think about it, way back in the day, before Nintendo ever became a major player in the game, they gambled a whole lot to put faith in the New York studio, well, now the Seattle studio, for Nintendo of America. And they started adding toys and stuff like that. Rob the Robot was a toy. And introducing it as a special bundle for the U.S. for the U.S. version of the Famicom. And it took off over here based on that effort that they made. So, they're going to make certain efforts for certain reasons. And a lot of those are because, hey, this is a different market. We can't put a dent in here. Let's try to do something to at least get them to pay attention to our platform here, or at least this certain game in particular. That's kind of the way I see it, because, history has proven over time that certain efforts get certain attention in different markets. All the weird kind of very Japanese commercials, for whatever reason, work for Nintendo and Sony very well in the homeland. As far as here, obviously that crap doesn't work. Say what you will about the Super Mario Sunshine commercial from a long time ago. That obviously didn't work as well as, say, it would have in, say, Japan. But when it comes to certain commercials for like Microsoft, they use the same one for the U.S. in Europe, and it works just fine. Maybe because our markets are similar, but obviously it's not working for taking an NOA type market and then pushing it over to Europe. For Nintendo, for whatever reason, it's not working. So they do different things, and they have different promotions there than they do here, per se.
So Shadow, just on that, do you feel that they gain enough by putting those special editions into the new markets compared to what they might lose by essentially insulting their current markets?
I would say that it's give and take. They didn't know what was going to happen when they originally took all the money to remarket the NES in the U.S. Obviously, it was a great. They got a lot back from that, and so they're trying little things here or there in Europe to see if they at least make a dent. Obviously, they're not going to make a brand new edition of the Wii U and shit just for Europe. Although there have been some, such as the Zombie U bundle, at some point. I guess it was only in Europe for a while. I don't know if it ever made it over here yet, but I know it started over there first.
Yeah, so, that's the one I got. I got the launch title, Zombie U.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything that drastic right now, because they obviously understand that that's a goalpost that they've went past at this point. But it doesn't hurt to make an effort for, say, one individual title versus, say, an entire platform,
right,
or some of that nature.
But honestly, this isn't a new problem for Nintendo as far as their retail presence, because other than the NES that used to dominate retail stores, maybe the Super Nintendo to more extent, a little lesser extent, but ever since N64, Nintendo has been the section or the retail store. So
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a NOA problem or not, because there was a point in time where their reps were basically paid to make sure that they worked those deals where they had everything up front and center. And I don't know if that's the issue now or if other companies are just paying more than Nintendo is willing to.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, because I remember, like, the NES, like, you had an NES section in stores. Like, you go to a mall, and if not in a store, in a mall, like, they'd have in a Toys R Us or something like they'd have, like, the Nintendo section. Like, almost like it was its own, like, mini store within the store. And even
Nintendo.
Yeah, and even...
The Nintendo or the NES, I didn't want to cut you off. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say the difference with the NES is that Nintendo had a, let's just face it, a monopoly.
Yeah, they had a monopoly.
So, right.
And the SNES had something similar to the world of Nintendo, because I remember, the Game Boy, the SNES, even the N64. For the first 3 years, I want to say it was out. It had its own section in a lot of places. And then, I mean, towards the end of that, generation, basically, I want to say when the PlayStation really started to take off, you saw, like, a lot of what used to be, and part of that is because Nintendo just, like, conceded a lot of the market share, and it just wasn't really, like, they weren't going to sit there and fight, like, that way, because they didn't have, I mean, at that time, Nintendo, I mean, they made money, but they didn't have Sony's money at that time. And when Microsoft entered, they dang sure didn't have Microsoft's money. So they were like, we're not gonna throw money away on advertising like that.
It's interesting though, because you can see if you go into a game store here in the UK, which is the equivalent of GameStop, with it being a bigger brand, you can see that, you know, Sony and Microsoft's basically throwing money at buying shelf space.
They do it here.
The store is half blue and half green, right? There's no red in there, right?
They do it here.
It's real bad here.
Yeah.
But
if you to the point where they'll have like 6 games take up an entire wall for a platform that only has 6 games, they'll do it.
Yeah, well that's the thing. Yeah, you get half a wall to one game. But I went into a smaller store. This was a month or so back. It was a Smith's store that just opened up over here, in Scotland anyway. But yeah, they didn't seem to have, I don't know, maybe if they're just not on the radar of these companies in the same way, but they had every single console, be it right down to your sort of PS Vita that, you know, pretty much is dead at this stage. You know, it had exactly the same shelf space as the brand new, you know, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 had come out. And the really interesting thing was in that store, because there was no sort of pre-perception going in, you could see people going over it and genuinely looking at what they liked or didn't like. And the Nintendo section got loads more traffic in that store in the half hour I was in there than you would see in an entire day in the likes of a game store.
I'm shocked.
It is reality.
Well, actually, I agree with you, because, like, there's like 3 EB games, which I guess, or not EB, GameStops used to be EB.
EB's owned by Game anyway.
They bought out EB, those suckers. That's a monopoly, too.
It's still called EB up here.
We used to have EB over here, got bought out.
Yeah.
I think it's still called EB in Canada, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but they used to have, they're still owned by GameStop because they don't like competition. But the 3 GameStops, like, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, you go there and, like the, like, one of the highest selling bits of hardware in the industry right now is the 3DS. And you have to literally, it's like you have to answer a riddle, go past a troll. It's hard to find the 3DS section in some of these stores. And I'm like, this is a system that's selling. This is a system that's selling. It has one of the IT games coming out within this, I think, if not, no, next month. And you basically have it hidden away. And yet the Vita's up front. I'm like who's buying these games? Why?
I think that is a game store specific problem, because when I go into a Best Buy or especially Toys R Us, Nintendo's presence there is pretty well represented, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with Smith. Smith's and Toys R Us have a fairly equal standing.
Walmart even.
Yeah,
I think Walmart.
It's mainly just in the game world itself, which is kind of sad.
Well, Asda over here, which is Walmart, completely dropped Nintendo about 6 months after launch.
Wow.
Dang.
They
I would-
turned
I
around and
would
went
say-
no, and they only sell it online.
Oh yeah,
Some
that's
store-
right. I heard about
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's right. I
Some
did hear
stores
about
it depends on management too, because even like some GameStops, I've seen some GameStops actually lay product out properly, and you know, I guess it depends on the manager. I talked to them. I said, hey, you know, this is the first store I've seen like this. They're like, what do you mean? Normally, you guys have the blue labels tucked all the way in the back of the store in the corner somewhere, even though there are far less games on these two platforms that just came out. And they're like, oh yeah, we don't do that because our manager, he thinks that's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's
I-
interesting. It's interesting because I went into an HMV recently because I thought that there was only these banners that were sort of paid for by certain companies, and everything, and they'd just redone their sections, and they had Nintendo banners that were bright red banners, said Nintendo across it, the old school sort of Nintendo circular around their name and everything. And I went over and asked, and I was like, you know, so did you guys make this up yourselves or whatever else? And they're like, no, we're giving this the same as any other brand. We just chose to actually display it.
Yeah,
Wow.
like I think in America, I think what goes on is that Microsoft and Sony they give a certain amount of marketing dollars because it's not them personally, it's them giving money to advertising firms just spending the money.
America is one of the biggest markets for video games.
Yeah,
So they figured if they totally buy out everything here in the States, of course.
Yeah, they're basically. I mean, they're getting paid because I remember one GameStop when Link Between Worlds came out, and I went in there and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it early because I mean I really wanted to play it because Link to the Past, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm gonna get the technical sort of sequel to it, and I go in there. They don't have any displays. Well, they had a display, but it was really small and then tucked in the back. I'm like, come on, man.
You know, I've got a similar scenario, and not to plug my own stuff, but I have a post on PureVideoGames.net, one of the sites I contribute to, and one of the posts was it's a wonder that third-party games even sell on the Wii, and you know one of the games I went to go purchase was a Call of Duty game. It was Call of Duty. I want to say I think it was Call of Duty. I think it was Black Ops. It was Black Ops. So and I got the headset for it. And when I went there, not only were the employees there completely unaware that it existed for that platform, they didn't know the headset existed for it. And I told them, hey, it's right behind you. And he said, oh, that's what that is. And then when I told him to go get the game, this is right after the game came out, right? So Black Ops just came out for all the major platforms, whatever, right? Black Ops is all over the walls of the PlayStation and the Xbox.
I had a very similar situation when Splinter Cell came out for the Wii U. I went into
it was
there
everywhere.
there was two discs on the shelf for Wii U. Everything else was coated. And I went to the desk, and the guy at the desk not only didn't know where I'd picked the game up from, but after I told him that I had got it from his shelf, he turned around and said to me, "Why would you want that for the Wii U?" After, so I was like, "Do you want my money?"
It's crazy. I had to go and find the game at the very top shelf, and it was right where the light was, so you couldn't even see what it was until you walked all the way up on it.
Yep.
So, and I'm like, this is a new release. Why isn't it on the new release shelf?
Well, I mean, I guess that would segue kind of in my topic.
I was gonna say,
we're talking about
let's move
people
on to
being biased against being biased and using just what they want when it suits their purposes. There's a saying in debate that statistics don't lie, but liars use statistics, right? So Bayonetta 2 dropped in Japan, and like the first day of sales was like, what, 67,000? No, it was 67. It was like 30-something.
34,000.
It was the
34,000.
best-selling game.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh man, it's a failure. It failed. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you need to understand two things. Bayonetta 2's market is not in Japan. Okay?
That's not their type of title.
That's not their title. And here's the thing. These are Platinum games. Platinum games traditionally do not sell well in Japan. Even Okami, and Okami is the most Japanese. It tells Japanese mythological history.
Japanese.
Okay.
Yep.
It's. I mean, if you're a Japanophile, you would love this type of stuff. Because I'm a Japanophile and I love it. even
I didn't
Okami
even
didn't
know that
do
was a
well.
term. I'm I'm an otaku, but I'm not a Japanophile. But
A
anyways, keep going.
Japanophile is someone who loves Japanese stuff. Otaku
I
is
know.
just the fiction, but I mean, I like Japanese history, Japanese lore, all that stuff. But anyway, even
Yeah, I'm the same as
Platinum
you.
games don't do well. Beautiful Joe didn't do well in Japan. Devil May Cry has a loyal following in Japan, but it's never been a high seller in Japan. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it selling well in Japan because Japan is not the market for that type of game. Okay? Now, once it drops in Europe, in the Americas, if it's selling poorly, which it probably won't be, it's going to break 1 million, it'll be fine. Then, I'm going to be like, okay. Now, if it's not selling well in the US, then I'd be like, hey, that game's not doing as well as it should. But, I mean, I'm not worried at this point. But my point is this. People quote the media create purposes. Like, remember when the PS4 first came out in Japan, everyone's like, oh my god, it's outselling the Wii U. And then as soon as the Wii U started outperforming it in Japan, like none of these so-called quote unquote reputable sites will even mention the media create sales.
Nobody cares about sales in Japan when sales in Japan and don't include their favorite platform.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the third, in some cases, the second largest video game market. It bounces between certain parts of Europe and Japan, but the sales there don't matter.
Like I said, before we got started, like I said, if the data doesn't serve their agenda, these gaming politicians don't give a damn about Japan.
Yeah.
Only until Japan serves their agendas, did the gaming politicians even care. So I mean,
Isn't that the same with Metacritic and everything else?
Right. Same thing.
I mean, people get mad. People get like, okay, let me put it this way, which segues into the second, which goes into the whole thing is like, sales-wise, you can look at the sales. Okay, look at what that platform offers. Okay, you want to know why Nintendo's doing well in Japan? Because it's a very Japanese-centric console. It doesn't use a lot of power. It's quiet. It's very discreet. I mean, it's a beast, but it's not like advertising that it's a beast. And for the American sensibility, for modern, quote-unquote, modern gamers, so I'm going to say anyone who started after the PS2, during or after the PS2 generation, they don't like that type of console. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, a lot of the people here started out on Japanese consoles, so we were pretty much raised to be basically Japanese-style gamers. So we aren't going to sit there and look at something and say, oh, well, it doesn't look like it's a beast, so obviously it's going to be terrible. Because, look, I remember when the Atari had those wood consoles that looked like something you could accessorize your grandparents' den with.
I remember this. The wood panel thing.
Yeah, I remember my friend, he had a Lynx and a 3DO. And I hate to say this, but those things let him down. I'll stick with my Japanese consoles, thank you very much. I'm not really impressed with...
But Centipede was boss, though.
Yeah, Centipede was pretty good. But, I mean, the thing is this. People use what they want to use in order to support their argument. They don't even address the counter-argument. Like, people... Like, I saw numerous websites, Kotaku, all these people, oh my god, it flopped. Okay, you're measuring 1 day of sales in its weakest market. Okay, then by that estimation, I'm gonna flip because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay, then the Xbox One is a flop because in Japan it's just a joke.
Yeah, let's compare it to how great the sales were of Infamous in Japan first day.
Yeah, how about
Right?
Yeah, that
was like
totally
16,000 that gets sold.
Didn't that sell better in Japan though?
Yeah, Knack sold like hotcakes in Japan compared to freaking US.
Yeah, actually off topic. Have you seen the commercials with the scores rating for Destiny?
No,
they didn't lie. They put the 80 on there.
There was a bunch of 90 somethings in there, and 95s and 9.5 out of 10, and I was like,
Who scored this?
What is it, like
Those
10%
are all those
of the
lower
review, 10% of the review base, whatever you want to call it, or like
I
90s,
don't know,
80s?
but what bugs me about this is that a lot of gamers just buy games and don't really well, now more and more gamers are researching, but a lot of gamers just go in the store. They're like, hey, what's a hot game? They buy the hot game and they bounce. And then
Oh,
there's
yeah,
other
sure.
ones.
Yeah.
So they look at these commercials like, oh wow, is it that real? Okay, let me check that out.
And now it seems to like that new Alien game too as well is definitely going to be another letdown amongst gamers too, because a lot of like that game. I mean, it's getting like decent reviews, but there's a lot more negative responses coming into play now from big
Okay.
publication websites. So
For the,
Well,
for the
it's-
record, I'm not saying Destiny's a bad game. I'm just saying that commercial was false advertisement.
No, Destiny isn't a bad
they have,
game.
they have
It's
to find somebody to promote it. That's the best way to do it.
Destiny isn't a bad game. It's an incomplete game.
It is, yeah.
All
Yeah.
MMOs, it's an MMO. All MMOs, really, to tell you the truth, you shouldn't even score an MMO until it's at least been out a year. You shouldn't even review it because it still has bits and pieces that have to be attached.
Well,
It's-
the problem with that, though, Mr. Red Fox, the simple fact is that Bungie came out and stated that it wasn't going to be an MMO right from the get-go. They made that specifically clear.
Well, let me
for the
put it this way:
longest time.
it has multiplayer and it's
Oh,
only
no.
online. But
I
I don't. I mean, isn't that the definition of an MMO?
No. You can't get away with calling this
Online.
game MMO when it doesn't have a lot of the things that MMOs have, like
Yeah.
the social
Like
features. It
Content.
have the basic social features that an MMO has.
Yeah,
It's closer to Fantasy Star Online.
yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't even have the content of Phantasy Star Online, because Phantasy Star Online didn't claim to be anything. It's like, look, it's a grind-a-thon. That's it.
But there was always new content. Like for every holiday, they had all kind of
Yeah,
different
they
stuff.
dropped-
Yeah,
A lot of
kind of like what Realm Reborn does. They always have holiday seasons and everything else like that.
Yeah.
That's true on MMO, but Destiny though, it was never set out to be one. It just that's why when I made that video a while back, a couple weeks back, they're talking about how Destiny suffers from identity crisis, man. That's exactly what it's going through. A lot of
Well,
people look
they
at
don't
it as
know what-
being like a regular shooter. A lot of people are looking at it like, hey, this is someone like an MMO, even though Bungie stated that it wasn't an MMO.
Well, the thing is that they basically tried to position it as all of these different things. Not Bungie themselves, but the people advertising it. But it doesn't do any of those things really particularly well. Like, well, it's kind of like the successor to Halo. I've played a lot of Halo. It doesn't really feel like Halo. Well, they say, well, it's good. We're going after it's gonna be kind of like an RPG shooter, kind of like Borderlands was, but we're gonna be going after what Borderlands wasn't able to achieve. And I'm like, it doesn't
Which
really
it
do.
didn't do.
It doesn't do that either very well either. So I'm like, what are you
All
guys
the
going
weapons are
for?
the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it pretty much basically perfected the whole entire shooting aspect, which was great in Halo, and they kept that in there. But as far as like the game itself goes, like it's not even open world, man. It's kind of like
Very limited.
yeah. If you look at like the Mass Effect 3 Citadel hub, that's the size of your world, pretty much, basically for each area that you go into, which is freaking
And
pathetic.
I gotta. This kind of brings me to another topic. I don't know if you guys are ready for that, but it kind of blows my mind because most of the gaming press and a lot of us as users, we're manufacturing ourselves. We're making ourselves like a game that we probably shouldn't like because we come up with different reasons to say we like something after we already bought it or somebody already forced us to buy it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm listening to people right now that are on different podcasts for different major publications, and they're trying to justify Destiny's endgame. And, they're like, well,
What
after this,
endgame?
it's such a different game, and there's different things you have to do. And and one person complains, well, if you have to go in a cave to grind, I just really feel that the core experience is broken. Oh, but the core shooting is great, so it's addicting to me, so that's why I'm still playing it. But
Oh,
these are the same. I'll just say this. I won't say what publication it is, but I'll say this same publication.
Sounds like something
not-
like IGN would say.
but they knocked the last Mario game because the platforming was repetitive. What about the core experience being great? Nobody else can do a platformer like Nintendo can.
Oh God!
So
no.
why wouldn't you just say that you're still playing that game because the core jump and platforming mechanics are still solid for like
So on
25 years?
on that same sort of point there, do you think that it's the fact that they're not attached to any one platform, they're able to avoid a lot of the scrutiny? I mean, if you make the best game in the world and you attach it to any one of the platforms, you're going to have the other two platforms' fans, taking it to bits. Whereas if you release a game that's cross-platform, even if it's on just, say, PC and Xbox, because it's on more than one platform, people give it a bit of a free pass, if you like, and the hype gets so much higher. Whereas if you released it straight to one console, it's automatically getting scrutinized because we have to scrutinize it.
Well,
it's not our console.
That's a
This
good point.
entity in particular, Gordon, I would say it is almost 200% PlayStation 4 right now. Whenever they talk about a multi-platform game, they're always talking about the PlayStation 4 version.
Or they
Yeah.
always review the PlayStation.
Well, I mean,
Like, you don't
over
even
here,
hear-
over here in general, the Xbox One and the PS4 pretty much treated the same thing. I mean, most of
But
my
gentlemen,
friends look at the two consoles and go, well,
in
if I'm buying
regards,
these two consoles, they have the same games, the PS4 is more powerful, why would I buy an Xbox? That's the way that most people I know look at it.
Yeah, well,
you
not
have to
just
look-
that.
You also have to look at the fact that regarding these companies, this could be their end game. So they're going all in on this because Sony's going down big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they need PlayStation's pretty much the only department that's really doing something. So they're gonna go balls to the wall, pardon my language, to make sure that they do well. And same thing with Microsoft. Except Microsoft is good, but their department, you already heard a million times. Investors are like, we're not
Yeah,
making
I'd say
any
they're
money
the
on
opposite
this."
way around. Microsoft's good, but Xbox is not making them much money.
They're
They have enough money coming out of their butt
Oh,
anyways.
hold on for a sec, guys. Gilligan, I'm gonna chip in on this real quick.
Yeah, speaking of, console sales and console popularity, I know I have sort of said this before, but I love how a lot of people, have said nowadays that, the GameCube is, especially nowadays, that the GameCube is the best console, one of the best consoles of all time, despite of not selling well. But then when they look at the Wii U, saying, "Oh, it's not all that great,"
Gilligan, can I
these
stop you
same
for a
people.
split second? I'm
All right.
I'm going to say that GameCube part is entirely in retrospect because the same attitude they have now about the Wii U is the exact same
Yep.
attitude they had during the present for the GameCube.
Yep.
But you can continue.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny thing too, But see, this is where I'm gonna add to that. Back in the day, with the GameCube, yeah, it didn't get that much praise. It actually got some hate, as a matter of fact. People actually even mocked the GameCube controller. Now, people nowadays are saying the GameCube is a great system. The GameCube controller is the best Nintendo controller ever made, even though I disagree.
I was going to
But,
say, I'm controversial. I don't like the GameCube controller.
Speak for yourself.
Oh,
Blasphemy.
praise
I
the
actually
Lord!
like it, but
Not-
actually
I'm not
prefer
the only person that I'm not the only
Let's go.
person that thinks the GameCube controller is not the best controller.
Actually,
It
I
is
prefer
a
Pro
fighting
Controller though, but
Of
let's
Smash.
keep going.
That's
Heretic.
the only fighting game I'll play with it.
Pro Controller is better in my opinion.
I-
Also has 80 hours of charge. Can't
If
beat
I'm brutally honest, a 2 analog stick controller, my favorite right now would be the Xbox. Either 360 or One. I just think it's comfortable. Regardless of the console, it's just so comfortable.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
let
I
Gilligan
don't
finish
like
his point.
Yes,
Oh,
back
yeah,
to
we're
Nintendo.
definitely-
Y'all cut the
But
man
yeah,
off.
but yeah, let me continue on this whole thing. People right now, as of right now, people are starting to warm up to the Wii U as of late, but there is still plentiful people who are still skeptical and even doubtful of the Wii U as of late. Mostly the same people who owns the PS4, the Xbox One, or hell, PC, or just strictly PC gamers. They used to be console gamers, but now they're like PC gamers. So I know a few people that I have subscribed to on YouTube. But what's the thing, I just wish that if in a way I can just like
Sorry, you're cutting off.
show them a few games and can you hear me
Gotcha.
better now?
Yeah, keep going.
I was saying,
Yeah.
if only I wish I could show Wii U and some of its um
Okay, Gilligan, maybe that really is a
what?
problem because you're cutting off a whole lot. You're phasing in and out as you're talking.
I think
I think it's my internet. It's my
I think what
internet.
he's trying to say is that he wishes he could go into the future because you're going to see the same people doing the same thing with the Wii U that they did with the GameCube. And then you'll be
Exactly.
like,
As the more software release, you'll see. But anyway,
no, they're going to be like, oh, this is such a great. It was a great console. Why didn't you get one? You know, it's always excuses. With Nintendo, people just can't like a system or the games. It's always like, well, they left me behind. No, they've been making the same stuff they've been making. You went to, you know, you're too cool for Nintendo games now.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's okay to look back and say, oh, I liked Nintendo. It's not okay to say I still like Nintendo.
I still like Nintendo. I mean, I'll be frank with you. Look, if and this might sound a little fanboyish, but I'm just going to keep it real. If Sony said, look, the PS4 is our last console, we're just going to do a box that you're going to hook up to your TV or your computer, or your and you're going to stream some stuff,
now.
I'd be like, I mean, I'm not going to be heartbroken. If Microsoft said we're not making any more consoles, I'm like, thank God these third parties won't get paid off anymore. But really, if Nintendo said we're not making anything else, to hell with all of you, I'd be like, well, I guess I won't be gaming anymore.
You know, Gilligan kind of made a point. He kind of put it in the chat on the side. And he was basically talking about the good games that are for Wii U right now. And one of the kind of things I did was I was looking at one of the montages I think Games made up with all the different games releasing for Wii U or something like that. And it was just a bunch of games going in tandem back and forth on a YouTube video or whatever. And one of my coworkers walked by while he saw me playing that. He was like, "Man, what are all those games for?" You know, he was like, "Are all those games out already?" I said, "Yeah, all of them are out already." He said, "Man, I got to get some of those." And I just kind of gave him a little wink, and I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And you know, these guys in my job, they want nothing to do with Wii U. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, when I first bought the Wii U, I bought a couple of games with it, and to be honest, I didn't have that much money to buy anything else after buying a console anyway. But about a year down the line, I went back as the things got sort of cheaper, and you know, the shops were basically selling off half the games. So I got maybe 10 games or so over time for like, you know, pennies compared to what you would have spent on it brand new. But some of those games at launch, I mean, you look at the Lego City Undercover, and there's like no game like it anywhere else. That game is amazing.
Shit, man. Sorry.
I gotta get a copy of my own because I got it for my nephew and I loved it. I gotta get my own personal copy.
I mean, the loading times are terrible, but everything else in that game for a Lego game is possibly the best Lego game I've played.
It's the best GTA game you'll ever play that isn't GTA.
I was gonna say that's like our version of GTA.
But even with that being said, though, reviewers downplayed it. Like, they tried their best to not say this is a great game. And speaking of the publication I was speaking about at first, their podcast or whatever, they tried their best to defend everything that was going on with Destiny, right?
Yeah.
But this is 2 weeks later, and they had nothing to say about Hyrule Warriors, probably because nobody on their team yet has reviewed it. And they were kind of talking about Smash Bros. And trying to downplay how the online went. And not the core game. Like they were saying that the single player was kind of busted because there wasn't, you know, they were trying their best to not do the very thing that they did for Destiny when it came to talking about Nintendo titles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
this
sure.
sounds like
Disgusting.
Well, they're paid by Sony. Look at who they advertise. They literally have the PlayStation thing app on. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say these people are not, because they just created a new website maybe a couple of years ago to avoid that whole problem. So
okay.
It is really just bias, and they can't help it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I don't know. We probably already know who I'm talking about based on what I just said. Well, a few of these people used to work for a major publication, and one of the reasons that one of them isn't there anymore was because of the bias in the buyouts and because of the advertising dollars that were associated with certain games. So they left to join a whole nother studio so they could just talk about games as much as they want to. And now it's not just them. It's not just them talking about games. per se, or that somebody's paying them more money. It's just that they can't help it. They talk about what it is that they like in particular. And,
I think everyone's got bias. You know, the only thing you can do as a company like that is to try and have people that have bias towards every different company. You know, if you have a group of people that one for Nintendo fan, one for Sony fan,
not about that. It's more about just being honest. Everybody has a bias. Like, we could tell most of us in here are biased to Nintendo, but we still enjoy games on other platforms.
Exactly.
Most of us, at least.
Well, that's the thing, and for me, it's games that you can play down the line as well. I mean, you look at, you know, pretty much every one of us has probably played, you know, Mario Kart again in the last month. You know, when's the last time somebody played Titanfall?
Yeah. Well, this is a major problem that I have, right? So this publication that we kind of verify here, but I mean, this publication I'm talking about went out of their way to show that they're not being paid for, right? If they're doing that basically for free, and they're being biased and they can't help it, so that means what's going to happen if that happens for free? Then obviously the other major sites are doing it for pay. So if you have two quote unquote, if you have a person that's not being paid for it and the people that are being paid to do it, and they all have major markets and major following, what do you think the consensus is for the average Joe Blow gamer out there that may listen to one site or may go to one site here or there? I mean, they're going to think the same thing because it's everywhere. It's also when you go to the game store.
The trend is.
Everywhere that you can get gaming information is polluted with that kind of stance.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do. I mean, perfect example. Everyone knows Dragon Age Origins 2 was garbage. Okay? It was terrible. And yet, I remember when it came out, you had multiple publications. I think a lot of gaming magazines were still giving it 9s and 8s. And I'm like, this game is not a 9 or an 8.
And they kept posting articles about it. Find these secret items in this game.
Yeah. And finally, about a year and a half, 2 years after it came out, people were like, you know what? Yeah, this game is garbage. I mean, and look, I was one of those. I didn't get that game because of any reviews. I got it because the first one was good. And I was like, well, they can't mess up the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Did you forget who the publisher was?
Yeah.
Well, you know, look. Okay, Dragon Age Origins is so good.
Oh, hell yeah.
I couldn't, like, I bought that game twice. I have it on PC, I got it on a Steam sale, and I have the Ultimate Edition on PS3. So, yeah. You could say I like that game. But, I mean, it's like these people just, I mean, look, here's the thing. I understand these people need to make money, but seriously, you can't just... You can't sell subpar. At this point now, I'm tired of it. It's like they're like, this game gets a 9. It's great, and I'm like, this game does not give, like, okay, you can tell when a game is gonna be awesome. Like, you could look at Super Mario 3D World. You could say this game's gonna be pretty dang good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Like, I didn't need to see a review of it. You could just tell. You could look at it and be like, this game's gonna be pretty good. The same way I'm going to use a non-Nintendo game because people always be like, oh, you just like Nintendo. You can look...
Mr. Red Fox?
Yeah?
Mr. Red Fox? If you can hear me, I do want to add to that, speaking of Super Mario 3D World. You know, when I was, like, working at Best Buy, I know I have said this before as well, but it's been like almost every time whenever I see like kids play the Wii U at the Wii U station at Best Buy where I work at, right? I would see the kids playing Super Mario 3D World a lot. You know, it's possibly one of the most fun and addicting games for the kids. You know, so and the thing is that I'm glad now that Nintendo's finally had implemented a new bundle that includes Super Mario 3D World in it. So
Which is already out.
Yeah, which I'm very glad for that. So I'm hoping that, you know, I can get the customers to actually buy that type of Wii U, especially for the kids that really love the game. You know.
Yeah, I mean, just to sort of round things sort of together a little bit, you know, I kind of feel bad for the next generation of gamers coming along that don't have the back knowledge that a lot of, you know, us and others, even that like other consoles, have, because we can at least look at it and go, well, that bias is there. Even on like Sony, they might be pushing this latest game, and it might not be the best game on their system. At least we know to be able to look deeper. If you're walking in now, you could be led astray. You spend your $50, $60, pounds, whatever the case may be, go home, and you've got to live with that purchase. That could be saved up for a couple of months to pay for as a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not doing the research, man.
we might be able to buy a game every month or so, but some kids can only buy a game every 3 or 4 months. That is what they're buying, and you're lying to them.
And I'm grown. And I get them like every couple of months.
It's kind of like it was for me back in the day when I was only allowed to run a game like one every couple of weeks. You know what I mean? So you had to make your rental purchase, a value one.
So you have to make the right one, and this is not helping.
Exactly. Yeah, you were stuck with that game for a whole entire 7 days. So whatever. Gamers just need to wake the hell up, man, and start doing your damn research, man. Because the more they keep doing this, the worse it's only going to get.
This is an expensive hobby. At least make sure you make the right choices.
Yep.
Cool. So we got something else to move on to?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move on to the last topic, gents. And Mr. T, you want to present this one, or shall I?
I'll go ahead and do it. The final topic tonight will be anticipation. Our viewers and people, us in this podcast here, anticipation for certain holiday games, games that are coming out this holiday season. We'll be looking forward to. So, if you don't mind. As far as my Wii U goes, a lot of them Wii U. I was gonna say Hyrule Warriors. That's already here, so we're gonna go ahead and skip past that one. Obviously, Bayonetta 2. I like to call it Bayonetta 2+1, if you will. Captain Toad. I hope it does make it. It doesn't have a solid date yet, so hope that makes it. And what else? Obviously, Smash Brothers for Wii U. 3DS, Smash Brothers just got that, so that's in the books. I'm gonna get back into Pokemon with Pokemon Omega and Alpha, and there's a eShop game, or I guess a Nintendo eShop for 3DS game called Gunvolt. Is it Gunvolt Striker?
Gunvolt Strike is an awesome game.
Yeah.
And you get a free game too with it.
Right. It's like a NES version of it or something.
It's like an old school NES version of the game.
Yeah. It's a crossover with Mighty Number 9 or something, is it not? The NES one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Looks real cool. And for my Xbox One, I'm looking forward to Sunset Overdrive and Halo Master Chief Collection, and possibly. What's the game? It was supposed to come out on Wii U back in the day, and then they canceled it. Metro. The Metro, was it Redo or Redux? Has the 2 games in the one. I might pick that up. I'm not sure yet, but that's me. And somebody else, jump in.
I'll go ahead and start it off. Obviously, I share your passion for Sunset Overdrive. Everything about that game that I see is what I like. That kind of reminds me of the old original Xbox days when they were getting games like from Smilebit, like Gun Valkyrie and things like that. So it kind of reminds me of those days, and I'm kind of glad that the developers have come out of their shell to make something like that for the Xbox One. So I'll be looking forward to that. Technically, it's not a holiday game, but I still want it, and that's actually I already have it. Killer Instinct Season 2. So I'm probably the biggest Killer Instinct fan there is. So I'll be definitely hopping on to that, and hopefully I'll be reviewing that with Jay at some point in time. And maybe it'll be a cafe episode, or maybe it'll be a Shadowcast episode. We'll see. I guess other than that, that's pretty much all that I have as far as Xbox One goes. I do kind of want to try the new Dance Central game. It came out not too long ago. I think in the beginning of August. But it's on Xbox Live right now. I would try it. I don't know if I think Vicky downloaded it. So I don't know. I'll have to look at it and see how it is. But it's supposed to be episodic, and so every season you get different songs and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about buying a new disc every year or what have you, like you had to do previously. So that's pretty much all I already got for that platform. Wii U, I'm kind of behind with you guys. So Hyrule Warriors, already got the 60 for Bayonetta 2. So that's a given. Operation Platinum in full effect. I don't know about Captain Toad, man. Everything I've heard about it is good, but I have to see about that one and if it's actually going to release this year, because Nintendo got kind of quiet on that. And I also, obviously Smash Bros. For Wii U, but they're kind of quiet on that too. So I mean, they did say 2014 for both titles, but we'll see what happens. Other than that, there's a lot of stuff on eShop that I've been looking to grab. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I got way more other things going on right now, so we'll see what happens other than that. I mean, honestly, I'm still looking at Steam stuff. So, yeah. And PlayStation 4, my game of the year will be Resogun.
Oh, God. Wow.
Well, I mean, look,
great.
greatness awaits, man, till 2015.
Yes, it's great. You guys should
That's
try
not
it.
nice
It's
to
like
keep people
free.
waiting.
Yeah, it is. It's not nice, but that's just the way it is.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be Rubber Duck.
They really released that. Oh my god, they really did.
That was on PS3. I don't know about 4.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, you go.
All right, so of course, me only having one current console right now at the moment. PC's not all that great. Hyrule Warriors, that's already in the box. I'm already playing that. I already have over 100 hours invested in that game already. Bayonetta 2, I already got that on lockdown. I'm just paying off the rest of it there when my money comes in there on the next Friday. Smash Brothers, of course, and then if Captain Toad doesn't get released, either by the end of November or early December, and if it does get delayed till 2015, which apparently it's rumored now, according to what GameFly's website has to say about it, then for the month of December, I'll probably I'm definitely going to be getting Sonic Boom. I want to try that. Even though a lot of people have a lot of negative reactions towards it, I kind of like the way it looks, and it looks like a fresh new take on Sonic, which he definitely freaking need. So that's what's kind of interested me in that game. Then, of course, there's, Watch Dogs is also coming out in November as well, which I know a lot of people are like, why would you buy that? Because I can't run it on my PC, and I have no other way of playing it, so I may pick that up, but I may wait until it drops in the bargain bin. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, that's pretty much. Oh yeah, and a whole bunch of awesome Castlevania Game Boy Advance games are finally starting to get released on the eShop now. So I'll be definitely buying all of those freaking games, man, for sure.
I hate the eShop. Ugh.
So yeah, I'm definitely. So Nintendo pretty much basically has my wallet like rigged for them, pretty much basically for the now until the end of this year, and then plus beyond that too as well. But since we're talking about between now and then. Yeah, I'm pretty much basically going to be like, there's not going to be 1 month where I'll be bored where I have nothing to game. As far as that gaming drought goes, that's gone now, at least for me. But it was never there for me as a gamer because I can always manage to find things to play, whether I go back to my backwards compatibility was with the Wii. Thank God the Wii U has that. So yeah, I always have stuff to play, which is awesome.
Okay, I'll go next from there then. So what I would say for the Wii U, I've just got Hyrule Warriors recently, so that's obviously like my current game on the go. I've also been playing through Skyward Sword at the same time, kind of back and forth, so that's quite interesting. Going sort of forward into the next month or so, as I say, I was looking at the new Skylanders game. I think the concept of them, what they're calling sort of trap portals, is interesting in a kind of Pokeball type way, where you can kind of capture characters in the game and put them back in again. I've just liked the game in general. I think the humour is quite sarcastic and adult at times if you actually read into it. And the puzzles are really good in it. Captain Toad in Britain, delayed to next year, so not getting that. I'm trying to think what else is on the go now. I've pre-ordered both the new Pokemon games, which is a first for me for doing both of them, because it's the first ones I've seen enough difference, I think, between the two. Whereas before you'd only normally get 1 or 2 extra characters, there seems to be a bit more difference in there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Sonic Boom does look good to me. It feels more like a sort of Ratchet and Clank thing than a running fast Sonic game, but it's still quite intriguing. And then as far as Watch Dogs, I'm not going that way. What I've decided to do, and I'm going to try and put this on my YouTube channel, but it's very similar to what the guys was doing when the guys were doing on another channel, where it was, how many games can you buy for sort of £50 within your eShop. There's a lot of games I'm looking at right now, and I was thinking, well, rather than being screwed around and delayed with this game forever, I'm going to buy up all this stuff that's coming across. I mean, you guys have got a lot of stuff recently that's not in the UK yet, the likes of your Striker, some of the sort of newer Gina Sisters games and things, and I can't wait to throw my money at those games. So yeah, all that stuff when it comes.
Can I give an alibi real quick? Because Gordon kind of brought something up for me. I don't know if it exists in the Europe version in the Europe area, but in North America, the end of this year is the end of the promotion for
Digital Deluxe.
Nintendo Deluxe promotion. So if you like eShop games, if you like anything that's on the eShop, get it now.
Load up.
Yep.
That goes for retail and indie games and virtual console games. Spending the money so you can get your $5 back for every 50.
Yep.
Yeah, so then even there, you look at that.
I spent $2,000 in 2 months.
So for my £50, I'm going to get £55 worth of games. Even better.
All right, Gilligan, you're up.
All right, the games I'm looking forward to getting, right? That's the thing.
Yep.
All right.
For the holiday season though.
So till December, end December.
From now till the end of December, yeah.
For pretty much the end of this year, pretty much.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, for the spirit of Halloween, I'm getting myself ready to get Bayonetta 2, and I'm gonna say this right now. As much as I really wanted the first print edition, even if Nintendo World does have the first print edition, I'm not gonna buy it because I really don't have the money nor the time. Because the only special edition bundle that I'm actually looking forward to get is the Super Smash Bros. Bundle, that one that comes with the GameCube adapter and the free controller.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I only put like $10 down to it like in friggin' June of this year, and I didn't even pay the rest of them. I didn't paid more money during overtime for it either, which is pretty much my fault on it. So I had to work up on that. And on top of that, I need to get Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. And as for Captain Toad, I'm pretty much gonna get that digitally. So. Because I just feel like it's just one of those games that you just rather just swap into and just play for some casual time with it. I know that game's gonna be challenging, but I think I'm not gonna go like for too deep into it as much, A
game I'm gonna keep coming back to is quite good to have on the hard drive though, without having to swap it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I'm just gonna get Bayonetta 2. Regular, no fine print edition, if it ever comes to the States in like Nintendo World or something like that, So I'm just gonna get Bayonetta 2 regularly and just setting my sights on getting Smash Brothers and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I guess Red Fox. I don't remember if you said anything or.
No, I didn't say anything. I was gonna let Gilligan go. Basically, I want all of them. No, I'm joking. I want everything. I want everything. No, basically, let's see.
You're gonna post Nintendo your wallet.
Yeah, basically, I just gave Nintendo my wallet. I'm already starting my holiday shopping next week. I'm getting Lego Batman 3 for the Wii U, even though it has none of the DLC and special characters. Suckers. So I'm gonna be getting that, and then
I forgot about Lego Batman.
Yeah. Well, I'm a sucker for those games. I didn't get the first one because I was still in my Star Wars kick. I was like, I can't do it again. But I got the Lego 2 and the Marvel one and Lego City and the Indiana Jones one.
I played,
mean, really,
I played
I mean,
the
it's like
entirety of 2 on the
I don't-
gamepad. It was amazing. But yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'm gonna get those. I'm gonna get that game. Then Bayonetta 2, which also includes the first one, which is just awesome. Let's see. Dang, Citizens of Earth, which is a downloadable title that really feels like it's heavily inspired by Earthbound. Costume Quest 2, because it's Double Fine. I mean, come on, Tim Schafer. Gotta support Tim Schafer. Because maybe one day we'll get a Psychonauts 2.
Don't play with me like that.
Yeah, that's what. Look, I'm giving him money now so we can get a Psychonauts 2 sometime in the future, and Brutal Legend 2, maybe. But yeah. So let's see what else. Obviously Smash Brothers, which I've already ordered, and I'm just waiting for that bundle to come in. Ooh, Lord. What else? There's nothing I'm really looking forward to on my Sony console because everything I really want to play on this thing doesn't come out until 2015. Hopefully. They haven't even said a title, but it's not going to drop this year in America, so I can't even really get hyped up for it. Don't own an Xbox. Oh, and I know this isn't a game, but you know Steam's gonna have their Christmas sale, so whatever they get on sale, this new gaming PC is getting some stuff downloaded to it.
Nice.
They're like, hey, you want this game that was $60 6 months ago for $5? Sure, why not? That's the Steam sale right there.
Buy it and never play it. That's Steam.
I never got into Steam. I've been debating for the longest to get into it or not.
Yeah.
I bought a lot of external and registered it to Steam just because it's easier than having the discs.
Hmm.
When you're on Mac, it's easy to not get it to Steam too much.
Like you only get a third of the game.
Exactly. I usually buy most of the indie titles anyway, so.
They are changing a lot of things, though. It is getting there slowly.
It's
Linux
getting
is
there slowly, yeah.
better
It used to be way worse.
Oh, yeah. Terrible a couple of years ago.
Okay. Jamie, you want to contribute to this one, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, my holiday season, I'm not looking forward to too much. I mean, of course, Smash Brothers, and I've already pre-ordered 4 Amiibo as well to use with that. So, I don't know what else I'm looking forward to this holiday season. I mean, I was looking forward to Captain Toad, but I mean, that's probably delayed at this point.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah. And I can...
So bad.
I mean, I still got Hammer Warriors. I've got Hammer Warriors and I've got Smash Brothers, which those 2 games alone are enough to sustain me for months on end. So, I don't really need much else right now. I might go through my backlog or pick up some older things, but I'm not looking forward to much during the holiday season.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm kind of in between Jamie and everybody else regarding gaming this holiday season simply because I got lots going on back and forth. Although I will say this, I have actually been eyeballing the Vitanic for the longest while because I have a serious weakness for RPGs amongst other things, and admittedly the Vitanic actually has a lot of decent games, RPG wise as well as regular wise. So I've been checking out that. I might pick one up this holiday season with some games. We'll see how that goes. But I'm looking. If Captain Toad actually makes it through, I'm actually going to pick that up. Bayonetta, definitely. You guys already know I'm going to do a concert. Actually, I need to do that damn video. I'm going to put that up tomorrow. Support Operation Platinum, but not because it's Platinum games, not because of mature games, but we need to support developers that actually go out of their way to make quality titles. It's not just Platinum. This is just what we're using as a target right now. So go out there on the eShop and buy those good indie games, buy those good second-party and third-party games that actually give you great content. That's my shameless plug. Let's see. Bayonetta 2, Smash for Wii U. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm in no big deal. I have so many. My back catalog is insane. And don't even get me started on my wish list on the eShop. Oh, I've already bought so many games that I barely touched. I'm ashamed of myself, actually.
That
I'm
backlog, though.
my backlog though. Oh my god. You go on my Wii U right now and you just see all these games, and you're like, wow.
I feel your pain. Thanks for those folders so we can hide them now.
Yeah.
Just see all
Oh
the games.
god, the folders. Oh.
You can forget about them being there.
No, the folder, because the thing is like you got all this stuff unorganized, and it just sitting there looking at you, and you're like, dang, I gotta organize this stuff. My
I
OCD.
know.
I mean, look,
I
I
know.
collect old stuff. That's OCD. I need to organize this stuff. I can't just just have
Yeah,
it
it's like
hanging
it's a
around
messy
there.
desktop. Man, it always aggravated me. It's like the first time I ever saw, the whole sort of, smartphones covered in icons. I was just like, I can't deal with that.
I must
I
say,
need
I'm
to be
the
tidy.
exact opposite. I like seeing all my games spread out like that. I don't know. It's just
As long as it's laid out in an order, that's fine. As long as it doesn't seem
Yeah.
messy.
If you can customize it more, I would have no problems. Unless maybe I don't know any better. Can you actually shift them around? Because I don't think.
oh yeah, you can shift the games around the way they are. People, you're talking about organizing. I feel like my games are pretty well organized on my quote unquote Wii U desktop. I have like all my eShop together. I have my apps in a separate kind of page.
Oh yeah, I had all my settings on the second page, so
Yeah,
it's out the way.
Yeah, I have it all set up like that. So
But it
for me,
takes
it's
up
pretty
too much
organized.
room, though.
No, for
I
me,
gotta scroll.
Yeah.
Scroll.
for me, I've got like, okay, this is SNES stuff. This is NES stuff.
Mhm.
This is like I have to be able to say, okay,
But
I want
it takes up too much room.
I go in here. Because, I mean, before I moved to my parents' house and I had all my stuff, like, just all organized, like, even when I packed my stuff up, I'm like, okay, this is SNES box. This is NES box. This is N64 box. Like, I had separate boxes, and even on, I mean, that's why I like the Virtual Console so much. I don't have to carry all that stuff around and hook up my old tube TVs. And, oh, man. Thank God for
Just
folders.
off that same thing. That's what I'm loving with the Wii U backwards compatibility. Is there's so many games in the tail end of the Wii's lifespan that I've bought since getting the Wii U as well, because I'm like, well, I can still play them. Who cares?
Yeah, that's what I did when I first picked up my Wii U. When I got my Wii U on launch, I had like already 10 games to play right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of games like I'd bought the first versions of, be it the Conduit and things like that. That I went and bought all the 2 versions when the Wii U came out.
If you guys haven't seen me on Miiverse in a while, and if you haven't seen me on Xbox Live in a while, it's because I've been playing Muramasa the Demon Blade for like.
Oh, that
Leave-
game is beautiful. Thank you
I
for
put at
bringing
least
that up. I'm gonna
90
play that
hours
tonight.
The Vita one or the
No, the Wii.
Wii?
Virtual Console.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, backwards compatibility, Wii.
Yep. Well, I mean, every
Can
once in
we
a
just
while, I'll go back and
play
play
that
Twilight
tonight?
Princess or
Yep, same here.
not Twilight
Xenoblade.
Princess. What's it called? Jesus.
Skyward Sword?
No, Metroid Prime Trilogy.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Oh,
I gotta pick that up.
I'm playing the Prime Trilogy too. Believe it or not, I have done something that I haven't done in the GameCube generation, and that is actually 100%ing Prime 2. And
Yeah, Prime-
that sequence.
That's
You know
hard.
What I discovered with that trilogy, it got easier as it went along. Like.
Not Echoes. Oh God, no.
No, Echo was easy. Echo was easier than the original to me. And then
Really?
and, well,
Even Dark Samus?
You tripping?
no, the reason it was because Metroid Prime was just a real cheap boss to me.
Oh no, you were timed for Dark
Metroid-
Samus. It was ridiculous.
Actually, both Metroid Prime and Dark Samus are kind of pretty easy boss.
No, Dark Samus like Echoes wasn't that hard for me. Maybe it's just because I get maybe it was the Wii controls with the Wiimote and everything, but it wasn't.
Of course, the Wii controls made everything easier.
Yeah, to me, playing against Metroid Prime, like Metroid Prime was always harder. Part of it to me was just because of the aesthetics of how they did a lot of stuff. Like, oh well, okay, everything has ammo, which I'm not used to because I mean, come on, it's Metroid. Metroid didn't have that back in the day. Like, you found something, you could use it, and now they're like, well, it uses these many missiles to use, and I'm like, no. Because you're always wondering, oh snap, what if I run out of ammo during the fight? and it's like the only weapon that does any damage to this SOB. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
you could use more than missiles on him. You just had to switch visors and use charge up like the wave beam and use its super form and things like that. You just had it was different things. And that game was kind of different depending on if you were playing in hard mode or normal mode. Like Metroid Prime was a pushover on normal mode, but
no, in hard mode she turned into a real egg buster.
Yeah.
A real egg buster.
What Metroid game are you talking about? Metroid Prime what?
The original
What?
Metroid Prime.
Oh,
Metroid
okay.
Prime, she was hard in that game. She was hard in if you did the hardest mode. I forget the name of it. Like the original
Veteran, I
Metroid
think it
Prime
was.
to me was the hardest. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, because I mean, first you play through the normal mode, and then you play it on the harder difficulties, because it's like, well, I need more stuff. So and then Corruption was just fun. Corruption was like, I'm gonna use hyper mode and kill everything.
But Corruption
Yeah.
was the easier of the three.
Yeah, it was the
much I will
easiest
say.
one.
Some games
Corruption
jump about like that, though. I mean, I found that with the Devil May Cry original sort of trilogy, the difficulty jumped all over the shop between the different games.
Yeah, Corruption was the easiest of all of them because of the hyper mode. The only thing that was really remote, the only thing was truly challenging was the last level, the last world.
And that was only because you did a lot of switching for the most part.
Yeah.
No, I liked Corruption was the most fun of all the Metroid Primes because it was just so.
I agree.
It was just it was like you could tell they had fun making that game. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, hey, let's make this game ridiculously fun for everyone. Like there was none of this ammo restriction garbage. It's like I could use missiles if I want to, or I could just go into hyper mode and kill everything. It was just, you know. It's like they gave you power-ups in Corruption you didn't even need to use.
This all kind of proves my point. This
This type of
conversation
missile.
went on so long. Is that the Wii games were a huge part of the Wii U for me. You know, if you'd never owned a Wii and you bought a Wii U, as far as I'm concerned, the two libraries merged. You
Yeah,
know? So
that's
for people
exactly
coming
what
in
I
going,
did.
there's a drought. There wasn't a drought. You had a whole Wii back catalog to play.
Yeah, because I never had a Wii. I used to just play it sometimes when I go over to my brother's place. That was it. So I was like, all right, what good games do they have on the Wii? And I started racking up.
I'm still
And this
buying
is-
games that I'm buying that were like randomly turned up. I just ordered a game the other day that's
Man,
some sort of Japanese football type thing, and I'm like, cool, sounds awesome. I'll try that out.
Can I add something? Like, this is the reason why people definitely needs to friggin' buy Wii U, especially if they didn't have the original Wii. There's a lot of underrated gems for the Wii that
God, yes.
everybody slept on.
hell yeah.
Especially
Zack and
games like
Wiki.
Zack and Wiki.
Apuna.
Yeah, Zack and Wiki.
Apuna.
Apuna, hell, I will even say even the first Conduit and Red Steel 2.
Conduit, Red Steel, yeah, definitely.
Red
Red
Steel
Steel 2
1.
was awesome.
Red
Then
Steel
how about this then? When we on our Gamers at
Someone was
Large
gonna yell at me
page,
for that.
sorry, Gamers at Large page, the blog, you guys should put your recommendations for games that
Are you sure
think
you really
are
want me
worth
to do that?
buying for like
That could be
different
a long
systems.
list.
No, well, yeah,
That's
because
fine.
my list would be freaking massive,
No,
man.
we'll do top 5. We'll do top 5 Wii
I'm
games.
sorry,
Yeah.
but I can't
No,
do it.
no. Give them,
Possible for me to lay off my top
10.
five.
Top 10.
Okay, top
10
10
for each
10,
system.
yeah,
Wii
10's
games.
more doable. Yeah, I can do that.
Do they have to be in order or just a
No,
top
it doesn't
10?
matter.
No, just
top
10.
10.
Just
Just
10
top 10,
games
yeah.
that you'd recommend.
And
10
I am
top
putting,
10
I don't care what
games that
everybody says, but I'm
everybody
putting
should
first
play.
Red Steel in there.
What's up?
I'm sorry, but I don't care what anybody says, but I'm putting the first Red Steel in there. I don't give a shit.
You can.
I'm
People
sorry. I'm
disagree
sorry.
with
Red
you.
Steel 2 trumps it. Don't get me wrong. Red Steel 2 trumps it, man.
People disagree
But the
with
first game, the shooting mechanics in that game were freaking flawless for me, man.
Yeah, that whole pause
But
and
Conduit, I think the first
everybody-
Conduit was more fun. The second game had better controls. Kind of the other way around.
Well, yeah. The second game trumps it in every shape, way, or form as far as like the way what the first game should have been. But that's Ubisoft with their magic goal of bullshotting their crap off, but whatever. But
But then that was the whole Motion Plus issue as well, where they didn't have
Yeah.
the controls.
I like the lighting in some areas of the game too, depending on where you went.
There was a good game that Ubisoft released on that
Soundtrack.
title. That was a shooter. It was Far Cry Unleashed.
Oh yeah.
Far Cry Vengeance.
On the Wii.
Far Cry Vengeance.
And then
And
you
that
guys
was a
did
great
Mad
game.
World as well. Mad World was awesome.
Hey,
I
do we
swear,
have any-
I thought that was Far Cry Vengeance.
Yeah, Far Cry Vengeance.
I think that's what it was called or something like that. Yeah, I played that. That game was awesome.
It was
Even
an
though the
open
AI
world
in that
shooter.
game, yeah, even though the AI in that game was dumber than a doorknob, but you know what? Use that to your advantage. Have
It
fun
was
with them.
fun.
Exactly.
Not every game needs to have Halo level AI difficulty. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
exactly.
telling you that right now.
Like for me, for the
Really?
PS3,
Actually
yeah,
found good within Far Cry because I remember playing Far Cry on the Wii and I just
And it's hard for
returned
me
that game
to-
like
so,
the same
lay
day.
towards me or something.
Well, let me guys ask you this then: Have you guys ever played a game that came out last year on
Lay
Xbox
towards me.
called Dead to Rights Retribution?
No, come towards me.
That was a game that got flacked for its horrible AI, but yeah, I had so much fun just messing with them. That game had a couple mechanics in that game too as well that I've never seen done before in a shooter game.
No,
Yeah, but that's the thing with a lot of games. You know, it's people will go in and they'll be like, "Oh, this is flaw in this control here, or this is flaw in the graphics here." I mean, I heard that about Batman when it first came out for the Wii U, and I'm like, well, okay, it might have some graphical issues, it might have whatever else, but did I enjoy it? Fun? Yeah.
You know, there's one thing I definitely want to ask Shadow Fox off the air because it's kind of important to me because he actually mentioned it in a comment for a video that I made a while back and related towards Disney Infinity. So I want to talk to him a little bit more about that crap after this when we're down on the air because it's a really intriguing thing, but it'll take too long to discuss it on here, man.
All right, well, guys, let's wrap it up for this episode.
Yep.
We could talk some awesome stuff later. You know, we always ramble after. Anyway, so
Gamers at Large After Dark.
yeah, we might have to one day just play
Behind
some of the nonsense we talk about when we get off air.
Gamers at Large After the Cast.
Dude, I can easily. I was thinking about starting something like that on my channel, man. Just being like just a random freaking hangout.
Gamers at large.
Nothing.
walk in.
Gamers at large. The walk-in special or walk-in episode, one whatever you want to call it. Just talk about random shenanigans, man. I might do that, man, one of these days. But right now, Hyrule Warriors is my fixation, so I'll be on.
I
wait.
must warn you, there's gonna be depending on who's there might be a lot of anime talk.
I was going to say we could go into anime, comics, whatever you want.
Yeah, you can talk about anything. I don't give a shit. Doesn't
I
matter.
have a
I've
caveat.
been watching a few anime cartoons lately myself, so I don't care.
Actually, this already sounds like us off air.
So let's wrap it up and then we'll
Let's
go
wrap
off
it
air.
up, peoples. All right,
I have to pee really bad, so let's wrap this up.
all right, you can go first then.
All right, everybody. You know who I am. I'm your fat Canadian bear hugger boy. Yeah, thanks for having me tonight. You kind of caught me off guard on that one, so I kind of slipped up my own outro, but whatever. I don't give a rat's ass. Anyways, I'll probably end up doing something on my channel relatively soon. Also, I will be getting my capture device there relatively soon. Big shout out and big thanks to Coupon Strive for hooking me up with that. I owe her big time. I'm going to be in her debt for a while for that. And she saved me quite a bit of money too, so that's going to be awesome. So look forward. I'm actually going to be doing a proper review video for Hyrule Warriors, not that slideshow hour freaking video that I made a couple days back. So yeah, look forward to that. New content coming also too as well in the near future. I'm sorry I haven't really been doing that. I've been too fixated with playing my beautiful wife, Hyrule Warriors. So yeah, anyways, thanks for having me on here, and yeah, moving on. Whatever.
Cool. The silent man himself, Jamie.
Well, guys, it's been fun, even though I've been quiet pretty much the whole time, but I've been actively listening and playing Smash.
I think a lot of us are. I am.
Pretty much. But clearly you guys didn't need me, so I just kind of hung back.
Cool. All right. Well, the Steam Butterwordy made his thing. Gilligan, what's up?
This is Gilligan Stas, the admin of the True Nintendo Fans and the Gamers at Large Facebook page, and yeah, I pretty much unlocked all the characters, and yeah, well, I will definitely make my top 10 Wii games that's recommended to people who don't have a Wii yet, and stuff like that. So, see you guys.
All right. Cool. The Highland Gamer. I said that wrong. Damn.
Yeah, that's cool. Just before I go, where is it we're posting this list?
There's a Gamers at Large blog we have. We'll provide you the information later, bro. We'll all
Cool,
figure.
send me a link. Awesome. So yeah, basically, I'm going by the Highland Gamer now. I've set up a YouTube channel. I've done a couple of sort of unboxings and things to do with sort of Loot Crate and the likes. I'm planning on doing some reviews and a bit more just about myself. Just watch out for that, and you'll see more of me soon.
Sweet.
Good stuff. All right. Yeah, I'm already subscribed to you, actually. I think I saw a few of your videos. Mr. T, you're up, fool.
Mr. T.
Hey, fools. It's Mr. T of the Mr. T Show. Glad to put another Gamers at Large podcast in the books. I got some really cool videos coming up, so look forward to those. And I just looked on my page, and I'm one subscriber away from 2,000. So I just want to, say thank you guys for all subscribing, and I should do a video, talking about that. And
Congratulations.
If you ain't subscribed, subscribe to this fool now. Chop chop.
He'll send the A squad on your ass.
All right, Red, you're up.
This is Miss Red Fox here. I don't have anything clever to say and not profound. Just look.
Not your typical outing.
Don't play games because your friends want to play it or because your friends are into it. Play something because you enjoy it. And if your friends don't like it, well, they aren't your friends. Game on.
Yeah, they can get bag of. Never mind.
Okay. And the one and only Shadow Fox.
Who done stepped in the game is Shadow Fox Infinite, Shadow Fox Prime. As I always say, do you play games to have fun or to impress other people? And I will say this, there's one video that I put out probably a couple of weeks ago that a lot of people should probably watch and pay attention to, because I still keep running into people saying that the Wii U does not have achievements. So please watch the Miiverse accomplishments video. Watch it over and over and over again until you get it through your skull. They're there. Go on Miiverse, look for them. That's all.
That post got wild, man.
All right, and as everybody knows, it's I, the Good Shepherd, one of the most talkative people in the group. Yeah, actually, in this group, I'm probably about average. But anyways, but thanks for listening. Support Operation Platinum, but most importantly, we're gamers. It's our hobby. That means it's something for you to enjoy. Don't play games to impress anybody. Don't play games because somebody tells you this is this. Play the damn game because you like playing the damn game.
Amen.
Game on.